CEOs, I will introduce you.
I guess it's pretty warm here, so
Yeah, you can take that off.
more comfortable.
Okay. Welcome to the Computer Security Seminar. Today's speaker is Leszek Lilien. He's from Western Michigan University, and he will speak on some thoughts on the Pervasive Trust Foundation for the future Internet architecture. Leszek.
Thank you very much, Professor Wagstaff. It's my pleasure and honor to be back at CERIAS again. CERIAS is, I'm 200 miles away from this place, but CERIAS and Purdue are always close to my heart. So it's even more pleasure for me to be here. I would like today talk about the very broad general issue. The primary motivation for me was participation in the Future Internet Summit and organized by the National Science Foundation. And among the people that were invited or selected was about, I would say about 50% were not architecture or network experts, but security and privacy. I always say privacy and security experts. So there are of course many summits on future architecture. I'm talking about the most recent one that was in October, and I have noticed many different approaches to that people proposed, which could be used as an underlying foundation or an overall basis for the future Internet. I am most interested in a foundation for the security mechanisms. So maybe the title should say pervasive, be a little bit, narrower and say Pervasive Trust Foundation for the security, and privacy in the future Internet architecture. I would like to acknowledge two of my PhD students that contributed to this presentation, Adawiya Al-Alahneh and Latfi Ben Othman. I will pretty quickly cover the basics, goals of the future Internet. Actually, some of you might have seen a presentation on that some time ago was given probably in the same media room by Dr. Landweber. And then I will summarize major issues of introduction to trust. And then I will present what I want to propose, Pervasive Trust Foundation for the future Internet. Not just Trust Foundation, but Pervasive Trust. And I want to analyze it a little bit and present to you the most critical obstacles that are in the way of trying to realize this goal of Pervasive Trust Foundation for the future Internet, or just for the security, privacy portion services of the future Internet. As far as goals go, we'll quickly take a look at basic requirements, challenge, designing future Internet, and Gini Fastly design. This is based on the presentation that I have mentioned by Dr. Landweber here. Here is his view what should be the basic requirements for the future Internet. And as you see at the very top, he placed that the future Internet must be worthy of the society's trust. Of course, how he understands trust, how I understand trust might be different issues. However, on his list, trust is up there at front. And he considers creation future Internet a big challenge. And of course, most people will agree that yes, indeed, it is a huge challenge to try to replace something that serves so many people so well, despite of not really being designed for the masses that it serves for. And one important issue is that we have a future internet NSF is asking for ideas and supporting a clean slate approach. A number of teams are already working. There are already centers working on that. But they are still looking for more and more ideas to present. The issue is basically a little bit like what the nature is doing. Try different approaches. Some of them will die, some of them will survive. Natural selection. One of them hopefully will hit the bullseye. And he then mentioned about the Gini facility design, some of the important things that Gini would already is using and that will be introduced in the future internet. Gini is a facility for experimenting with huge networks, are the notions of slicing, virtualization, and programmability. And again, he mentions here some of the major architecture ideas for the Gini, but you could as well say that, well, at least some of them should make it to the future internet. And the rest of them, and again, clean slate, secured network architecture. Let me now go and briefly try to say what is my view of trust, and yours might be different, or maybe you would agree with everything I say. Well, maybe with nothing. Anyways, maybe you have heard most of the statement that I'm going to present to you already. But anyway, it will be useful to go through some trust basics. First of all, the trust is defined in relation not only to a person, but also to a thing. So you can trust your car, you can trust your computer, and so on and so on. Of course, you can trust your software or not. Basically, using this definition, we can say that we can use trust in relation to every entity in a network, in the future internet or any future next generation network. Another important thing to remember is that trust is pervasive, and that's explanation why I use this word in the title and in my idea, is pervasive in social systems. Can you try to imagine a situation that you are in a situation worse than in a Wild West, that you have completely no trust to anybody around you? You have to always have, eyes. You have to really, watch your back, and you have to watch on the side. You have to always be ready to reach for your gun because you have absolutely no trust in anybody around you. Anybody who is around could be enemy. There are some, of course. So that's kind of one analogy. Another is some people have, some personality disorders, and if I'm using a correct term, and they distrust everybody. Some, the kind of the radical version of it is a paranoia, and they don't trust anybody, and their life is miserable. Our life without trust would be miserable. We use trust all the time. We use trust constantly in interactions with other people, with organizations, with animals, and artifacts, again, going back to the definition that it can be a thing that you trust. We use trust instinctively without thinking in it. You simply feel, it's like a gut feeling that you trust some people, distrust others. Sometimes it's based on some evidence, sometimes just on something totally vague and not justifiable in any formal way. If you look at the trust, for example, imagine a small village when everybody knows everybody. Every person that a villager sees has some trust value attached to his forehead for that person. Okay, you either trust them to some more or less, some degree. You distrust, villager distrust some people because they know those folks should be avoided. If you now, so this is a village is basically an example of a closed and static system. Assume that people who are there are no visitors or very few visitors. it's a closed system.